Pretty much everybody knows by now that the CW Flash and speedsters in general are written stupidly inconsistent. And I've even made a couple videos talking about this and talking about ways to write them consistently. But I never really talked about how the CW Flash specifically could have been written consistently while maintaining a full-length season, because you can't write him the same way you can write someone like Metro Man, who only has like 5 minutes of screen time. Or Dash from The Incredibles, who can only run maybe 100 to 200 miles an hour. So today, I'm going to go over 2 ways that the CW Flash could have made Barry consistent while not nerfing him and maintaining a full-length season. The first way to do this would be to keep his calorie issue. In Season 1, Episode 2, Barry had a problem with using his powers because after he used them, he would get lightheaded or just completely pass out. They later find out after running some tests that it's because he burned so many calories when running that after a while he's running completely on empty and has no juice. They guesstimate that he needs multiple Matt Stoney-sized meals per day just to be good. And I really like this because it gives a reason as to why he can't stop whoever he's fighting in a nanosecond. For example, in episode 2, the multiplying dude shows up and robs a bunch of people. He then shoots at this guard and Barry uses his super speed to save him, but he can't get the bad guys before they leave because he runs out of juice and passes out. That's actually good writing. It gives a reason as to why he can't stop them instantly without contradicting what they've shown us or what they will show us in the next episodes. They don't have to nerf him or make him dumb as shit for the bad guys to get away. And then when he faces him again, he takes their guns and then brings Joe to safety, comes back and knocks out 2 of 3 of them instead of all 3 and proceeds to get his ass beat.
Are you serious?
Now, this could have easily been justified by saying, oh, Barry has been using his super speed and he wasn't eating enough calories, so he was kind of low on juice, so he couldn't think straight, so he made dumb decisions. And he tried fighting this guy at normal speeds because he needed more calories. But this was never mentioned. They just actually had him fighting at normal speed for no reason. And then later, this same episode, Cisco makes Barry a high-calorie bar that just completely fixes this problem.
I whipped up these high-calorie protein bars.
And this issue is never mentioned again. So in later episodes, when Barry is a dumbass and doesn't stop every non-speedster criminal in an instant, it's terrible writing. Why they got rid of this issue, especially so quickly when it was a perfect way to limit Barry while not nerfing him, I have no idea. I talked about this in a previous video. A-Train was such a good speedster through the first 3 seasons of The Boys because he stayed consistent throughout. In Season 1, he dog-walked Kamiko in their fight. Later on, he was caught off guard and got his leg broken, which is fine because he didn't see it coming because he has to activate his super speed. He's not constantly perceiving time in slow motion like someone like Red Rush. So him being caught off guard is completely fine. He also dog-walks Starlight, she can't even touch him. So he never loses in a way that contradicts what we've been shown. He's never nerfed just to fit the plot. And then in Season 2, he's limited because he has a heart problem from abusing all that Compound V in Season 1. So when the boys were hiding in that tunnel and A-Train couldn't search and find them instantly because of his heart problem, it's actually good writing. When he punches the Deep in the gills and then the Deep tackles him into a wall, it's fine because he knows if he uses his super speed, he might croak. But then it all kind of fell apart when he got his new heart and somehow was missing punches on the Deep.
I have always hated your ass.
But you get what I'm saying. The CW could have kept Barry's calorie issue and made it a bigger thing. The Flash movie actually did something similar. At the beginning of the movie, Barry was kind of freaking out because he couldn't get in enough calories in time, so when he pulled up to save those babies from falling, his super speed was kind of wearing off until he ate a bunch of food. This shoulda, coulda, woulda been a bigger thing throughout this movie. Like when he travels back in time, maybe he couldn't travel back to the present instantly because he had no energy, which makes a lot more sense than him just deciding to stay in the past and talk to his past self for no reason, even though he knows that anything done in the past could be catastrophic to the present. But no, this food issue is almost never mentioned again. So my point is, this food issue could have been the easiest way to limit Barry while keeping him consistent. And with this in mind, let's look at a few examples from the CW Flash and how they could have been fixed with this food issue. In episode 4, when Captain Cold tries shooting Joe and Barry gets in his way to save him and gets hit, this makes 0 sense. We've seen Barry dodge bullets. A few episodes after this, he sees lightning moving in slow motion. There's no way this cold gun is faster than lightning or bullets. So there's no reason Barry couldn't have just grabbed Joe, move him out of the way, and grab the cold gun instantly. But they could have easily just made it to where Barry had to do this because he couldn't run as fast because he was low on energy. Then this scene makes perfect sense. In episode 6, he confronts the dude who can turn into metal. He gets thrown into this thing, and then he just lays there while this guy drops it on top of him. Just move out of the way, dude. You have super speed. He's done this while laying down before. But if he forgot to grab a bite to eat before this, and the food issue was still a thing, maybe he was too weak to move, and that's why he laid there. At least this gives a reason as to why he didn't move, rather than whatever this was. In episode 10, Barry faces Captain Cold and Heatwave, and he runs past them. What the f***? You can walk up to people while they're frozen. Just grab the guns. He's literally done this before. Wells then gets on the mic and is like, you know what you have to do. You gotta get them to cross stream to cancel their guns out. What? Just grab the guns.
You're a fucking disappointment.
My boy starts running all over the building and just doing anything and everything except grabbing the guns. He then somehow gets blasted and decides to just eat both blasts at the same time, pause, and walk towards them to get them to cross streams. He could have just grabbed the guns instantly. He can perceive time almost completely frozen while moving normally in that perception. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to run up to them while they're frozen, grab the guns, and walk away. You see how the writing ruins the show? But if they had the food issue, this could have been solved pretty easily. Barry could have run over to the scene, but he can't grab their guns instantly because he's low on calories. So he'd be forced to eat both blasts and walk towards them to get them to cross streams. Boom, now it all makes sense. You see where I'm going with this? If they would have just kept the, oh, Barry needs multiple thousands of calories, otherwise he's useless thing, then almost every scene would have been infinitely easier to write and would have been much better and more consistent. These are just a few examples, but if you watch the entirety of season 1, you'd be blown away at how many times they have to make Barry a complete bozo to write out these 45-minute episodes. Okay, we'll take a peek at another scene just for the fun of it. Insert this guy who can control weather. He brings a lightning bolt down on Joe and Barry is able to save Joe before it hits him, and then he looks over and the scene cuts away. That's it. The guy was parked up maybe 15 feet away, dude, and you can check the whole city in like 5 to 10 minutes at most. Just use your super speed and grab him out of the truck and lock him up instantly. You can do this. Then later on, Barry pulls up and uses this wand thing to drain this guy's powers. You don't need the damn wand, just grab the guy and instantly put him in a cell. He's done this before. The guy would never even know what happened because Barry is that fast. But then once he's drained, the guy just dips out and Barry just sits there and does nothing and lets him get away. Even though we all know good and well that Barry could search this entire building in maybe a second. But guess what? If they kept the calorie thing, then they could have just made Barry be low on calories, and that's the reason he couldn't run after him, because he could have passed out or something. Boom. Alright, you get the point. They should have kept the calorie issue. The second way to write a good full-length show about the Flash while maintaining consistency would be to have him only struggle against other speedsters like the Reverse Flash. Instead of having Barry struggle to take out some JV metahuman every episode, instead, have the Reverse Flash come through, beat Barry's ass, and have Barry realize he needs to train to get faster, and while doing this, he can use his intelligence and detective skills to try and hunt down and find the Reverse Flash. Kinda like how in the Batman movie, Batman worked mainly as a detective while trying to find the Riddler. Each episode could show Barry training with Cisco and Caitlin, and he learns a new technique like vibrating through walls, supersonic punches, speed mirages, and then him using those techniques to save people. And I mean, they could still do metahumans, but figure out a way to write them so that Barry is actually challenged and can't stop them instantly. And maybe in between all this, have the Reverse Flash toying with Barry and putting people's lives in danger so it pushes Barry to train to get faster.
It was me, Barry.
Literally, instantly more entertaining than what we got. I don't know about you, but I'd watch this shit all day. There are other ways that Barry could be written consistently, like simply lowering his speed. They did something like this in the Flashpoint Paradox, but he was still stupid fast. And the Flash just really wouldn't be the Flash if he wasn't ridiculously fast. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't really just write him to be OP and keep him OP like Metro Man because they're trying to make a 23 episode show on this. And if he has no limits, and every episode he's fighting some non-speedster, the writing's probably going to be inconsistent. So I think the best option would be to keep his calorie issue. They established it early on, it's a well-known issue that Barry has to deal with, and they just instantly fix it with some stupid high-calorie bar, and it's never talked about again. And by the way, we never even see him eat this bar. But yeah, it's been a while since I talked about speedsters, and I've been rewatching The Flash, so I wanted to make this video. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Also let me know if I should do more speedster videos, but that's all I've got for you guys today, so I'll see you in the next one.